Law enforcement agencies all around this country are not only becoming more like the military, but they're also becoming more like hackers. The amount of intelligence tools that they use to survey on the regular citizen is incredible, and they claim that it's all done in the name of fighting crime, Sasha. But there's evidence out there to be cautious about what is going on. We know that there's plenty of surveillance, a lot of network cameras, a lot of microphone networks around the cities where the cops can actually tap into these networks and get information from it. But in the case of Fresno Police Department is, believe it or not, at the forefront of cyber policing. And they have deployed many different initiatives to fight crime from what they call the crime center. And one of the things that they use is a piece of software called Beware that basically assess your level of threat to the officers. And it's basically a stop sign where you have a green, a yellow, or a red color-coded classification. And depending on an algorithm that only the maker of this software knows and reveals, not even the police departments that use it know how this algorithm works, but based on your address, your social security number, if available in the database, fingerprints, you name it. Everything is compounded into this software, your use of social media, your status as a veteran or not, if you have medical conditions or a mental condition, everything is in the database, and that gives you a qualification, red, green, or yellow, and the cops know this before they attend a 911 call.
This sounds like a very slippery slope. You have all of these data points being pulled into this proprietary algorithm. You said it yourself that the police officers don't even know how these different data points are weighted. So who's to say that this threat level, green, yellow, or red, is actually accurate? And I think what we're starting to see is this sort of reactionary response to a lot of the things that are happening in the world. And so when you have this need for the police to feel like they are arming themselves and making themselves less responsible for the actions that they're taking. You know, when they go into a call and someone has a yellow threat level, are they more apt to run into that situation with their hands on their holsters, ready to fire? Exactly. I feel like this just leads to more lawsuits, more grand jury, situations for cops if they're using this to sort of figure out how they should be responding to different situations.
And this is exactly what's happening in Fresno, where a lot of the citizens of this city are feeling that this was deployed without enough involvement of the community, letting them know that there was this surveillance. Now, we know that there's plenty of way that the police officers survey on people for prevention, if you will. I mean, now we know that the FBI has this program. It's crazy. It's called Next Generation Identification Project, $1 billion. The FBI is trying to make a network, a database of fingerprints, iris scans, data from facial recognition software, and other sources aiding police departments all around the country to identify suspects. And this is a good thing. These are the part of efforts that are really good. But at the same time, the road to make this a reality, like you mentioned, it's kind of weird, because how much are they willing to cross the line in terms of personal liberties, in terms of privacy, in order to provide this service for police officers that they don't even know how it works? In many cases, this proprietary algorithm. But do you feel that we should be more vocal? And this time where, say, an informed citizen confronts a police officer, and we've seen it in the past, it ensues in police brutality. The fact that you might show up in a yellow and they come, that might easily escalate to something else. How can we, make our voices be heard when the police departments are deploying these without us knowing? I
mean, what's really happening is a lack of accountability. There's a lack of accountability on our parts as citizens, and I think people with these filming of these incidences, being vocal about it on social media, people are trying to take the courses of action that they know may get some results, because we've seen time and time again in the cases of Sandra Bland, in the cases of Tamir Rice, in this situation with Laquan McDonald, there seems to be a very real lack of accountability from our federal system with these grand jury indictments. And so what it sounds like to me is that the police are arming themselves with another situation where they can say, well, we have this information, his threat level was high, and it's more evidence that they can present to a grand jury to really stop the culpability in the situation if they run into these situations, guns blazing.
I like that you mentioned that, because now we know that they were doing, in Baltimore, let's say, they were flying drones, trying to get surveillance over the Black Lives Matter protesters. But also in Oregon right now, there's a federal investigation against certain police departments in Oregon because they were doing illegal monitoring of hashtags that were related to the Black Lives Matter movement. So now we have software that tracks you if you're vocal about the injustice and makes you a threat to the police. So if in case that you get involved in a call from the 911, you are already being targeted as someone that has a high level of threat. So it's a win-win for the police, because if you speak up about something that you think that it's an injustice, then you rate higher on their threat level, and more likely they will be coming to your door in case that you are involved in a 911 call with the mindset of, this guy is going to shoot at me, this guy is a danger, this guy is a threat. But that is the state of policing today, and the American Civil Liberties Union says that this is something that needs a lot more review before it gets deployed at a major scale all across the country.